Welcome to the newsletter. This is week 9 here in the legislative session. It's week March 13 to 18. So we're on days 56 through 61, and it is snowing like crazy here in Juneau. You're probably thinking, well, of course it's snowing. It's winter. Well, Juneau's climate is a bit more like Seattle, so it's unusual to have this much snow coming down. We probably have 8 to 10 inches out there, and my walk over, climbing over big snow berms from the snow plows. But it's a lovely winter day. Today, the main topic, of course, going on, just like last week, is finances of the state. So last week, the Senate Finance Committee put out Senate Bill 26. This is a bill that was already under consideration. They made some edits to that bill. And so what you'll see in it is a percent of market value use of the earnings reserve for the first 3 years. That would be 5.25%. Now, effectively, because of the 5-year rolling average, it would actually only be 4.47%. So less than 5% use of the permanent fund or the earnings reserve. That's about $2.5 billion. It would maintain the dividend going forward at $1,000. So what they're doing in this bill is actually taking a percent of market value, this amount right here, 75% of it is being used to fund the gap, 25% of it is being used for the permanent fund dividend. That is exactly what Jay Hammond proposed in his memo in 1979. In year 4 and going forward, the percent of market value would reduce to 5%. A lot of folks are concerned about what that means for our savings. With this configuration, and by the way, there is a critical piece here, there is a spending limit also in Senate Bill 26. But at the end of the year, the CBR would have $4.1 billion in it. The earnings reserve account end of year would have $10.1 billion in it, leaving total assets there of $14.2 billion. And the permanent fund itself, at the end of the year, would be at nearly $58 billion. So you can see the Senate's focus, razor focus, has been on bridging the gap, maintaining the dividend, and with this scenario, the need for an income tax or a sales tax would be averted. Our goal is to grow the pie going forward. So there's ongoing positive news, by the way, and that is that our Trans-Alaska Pipeline System has been operating now for 40 years. They're celebrating 40 years of functioning this year. It was projected, you know, to only last 25. So we've gone well beyond it, and there is yet more oil to be found. Some of you may have noticed the announcement last week by a company called Repsol. They're a Spanish middle-sized company. They are partnered with a small independent named Armstrong, so they share a field on the North Slope that has proved up a new oil discovery on the North Slope. It's projected to be 1.2 billion barrels worth. And when it is up in full production, we're looking at another 120,000 barrels a day in TAPS. Now, TAPS has been running about 560,000 barrels a day this last year. We've been seeing the amount of oil going through TAPS actually going up. Last year, 2016, for the first time, there was a 3% increase in throughput. This year, January and February, compared to January, February of 2016, have been increased throughput. So we have not reached peak oil on the North Slope. There's still good news ahead. And that is the future. That is the plan for the future, along with responsibly managing our current resources financially. Wanted to just highlight there'll be a constituent meeting this coming Saturday. That's on March 18th. So thanks very much for reading the newsletter again. See you next week.